Here you will have the rules of the league. Okay, most probably we will modify something and we will add something, but we will go to the most important things. It's very important. If you haven't sent the, I think that I have most of the teams list, but if you haven't sent the list of the players, we need it today, super urgent, because we need to register the players and before the games. If a player is not registered before the game, he's not allowed to play. And then if you play without following this rule, the same. We will need to, okay, and the only thing that we need is this. Important. We will not ask now for any ID, Emirates ID, okay? But in case, if we need it, in case we want to check anything, we will be able to ask, yes? And also, the academy that is playing against you will be able to ask, just to, hopefully we will not need it, but if we need it, it's a normal league, and at the end, we need to control these things. So, we trust all of you. We hope that we will receive all the information before. So if anyone complains about a player, we need to know already that this player is overage or whatever, and then we will take an action according to this. But if we don't know anything, we will need to proceed with this. Emirates ID, what we recommend is tell to your families to have the ID always with them in the field. If any academy asks for any ID or the organizer asks for any ID, we will be able to do it after the game. So after the game, we will go to your families, ask for the ID, we check, and that's it. If something wrong, then again, we will take an action. Everything is clear, so the actions that we can take if something is wrong with age levels, whatever, everything is here. If your player doesn't have the ID in the field, we will do a picture of the player in the field, and then you can leave. You have 48 hours to send a copy of the ID. And then the next match day, you have to bring the physical ID to check this player. That's it. So we will follow this process. We take a picture and we will compare the picture with the ID that you will send us by email in the next 48 hours. And then after that, we will check the next day, the next match day in the field with the player, and that's it. So hopefully we will not need to do anything like this, but at least we need to put everything in the rules. Has to be very clear. The same, just read all these things about registration players and everything. We will send you a form. You will have a form, a Google form, where if you want to add players, you will be able to add players every week, but you have to do it at most Monday night and through this form. This form is just to put the name of the player, the team, and that's it. We will receive this player and we will add this player to the list. That's it. It's nothing. But everything will be here, because I don't know, one academy asks for a player, and if you don't have this player registered in the list, we will have the list in the field online. So if you don't have this player registered, problems. So to avoid these things, I think is very okay. Then the first different thing. Point system. Point system. Every team that win will get 3 points. If you draw, will be 2 points instead of 1. And if you lose, will be 1 point instead of 0. Yes? Why? Because doing this, we will avoid big gaps, basically. All the teams, if they are losing, they will get points, and the gaps between the teams will not be very big. Okay, so it's a development league, so if they are losing every day and every week and they don't win, they will see one team with 30 points and one team with 0, which doesn't make sense in this kind of leagues. So at least we will try to avoid these gaps. This is normal. And then process. Just read it because there are a lot of things. So after the games, always after the games, you have to go with the referee, with the coach of the other team, to the coordinator of the field. There will be always one person coordinating the field. So you have to go to this person that will be most probably with one iPad or laptop or whatever. Both coaches, the referee, them. And then it's just to make sure that the score and everything, if you have any complaint about any player, or you want to check anything, or I don't know, you want to say something about the game, about the fair rules or anything, you can put it there, and then after the day after we will analyze everything. If you don't put anything and everything is okay, just we will close this list and that's it. Normal rules. Offsides. Underage, no offside. 10, 12 and 14, yes. Always last term. Okay, we will say in the field. Another rule, different, let's say. You can play always with one player less than the aside in this case. So for example, if it's 6 aside, but I don't know, the commitment of the players here is it's complicated, so maybe one day you have 5 players instead of 6. You can play the game. We will not tell the other team to put 5 players, isn't the rule. We will recommend to put 5 players also in the other team, but we will not. You don't have to do it. Okay, so if one team is coming with 5 players and you want to play with 6, this is up to you. But we will recommend to put the same number. If one team is coming with 2 players less, then this team will be considered as a not presented. So you will lose the game. Anyway, you can play this game because at the end we want all of them to play. So if it's 9 aside and you have only 7, you can play 7 aside this day, but the score will not be valid. You will lose the game. Anyway. So that's it. Referees. There will be Dubai Sport Council referees and also Barca coaches. Yes. Basically, I'm very transparent with this. If we put the referees are the most expensive thing here. So if we put all of the referees Dubai Sport Council, the fees instead of to be 1,800 will be 3,000. So we prefer to manage like that. I'm sure that there will not be any problem with Barca coaches. And the rule is like that. If there is any academy against another academy, will be or UAE referee or Barca, doesn't matter. If it's academy against Barca, always will be UAE referee. And if it's Barca, Barca will be a Barca coach because we don't care about this. Okay, another thing. This is the most important. I think we will finish with this. The most important for us is to try to make the games balanced. This is why we have played these 2 weeks already. We know all the levels already, so more or less we think that all the games will be balanced. But if one game is not balanced, there will be some rules to make it balanced. But at the end, the most important will be how you manage the game. Because if you are winning 8-0, we cannot put a lot of rules to control this. So at the end, you will be the ones who will have to manage these games. But we can do some things. Scores. We will never keep scores that more than 5 goals difference. We will keep it for us internally, but on the official ranking in the website, that everything will be in the website, the gap will never be more than 5 goals. So if, for example, you are winning one game 7-0, you will see in the web 5-0. Yes? And for us, we will keep this score 7-0 because at the end, if two teams are with the same points or whatever, then we will go to the scores and we will check. But from parents, families, it's not nice to see scores than 9-0, 9-1, 9. So we will avoid this. Second thing, if we see that one team is winning with a difference of 5-6 goals, let's say 5-6-0, and the attitude of this academy, whether it is an academy or Barca coach, is to score more goals, press there in the box, because at the end these ages and levels, if you press a little bit there, you will recover the ball and you will score 25 goals. If after a 5-6-0, we see that this attitude from any of the academies, that you want to score 25 goals and you want to press tight and you are encouraging your players to score more to make these big gaps, we will consider this, we will keep the score for the first time and we will consider this as a non-fair attitude, okay? It's not fair play, because at the end, it's what we have told, it's a development league, so we don't want these gaps. So if it happens, we will put some rules, but you have to manage this. If your attitude, for example, I will put your game as an example. We did one game, the first game that we didn't know the level with Juventus. And we were playing with under 8s. And one team was very strong and our team was weak. So in 2 quarters, we were losing, Barca was losing 5-6-0. And we didn't say anything, and your coach managed the game very well, because they didn't press, they put rules before to score they have to do whatever, and the game finished 6-1, 6-2. But if they want, in this game they can score 20. But the gap was big because we didn't know the level, but with the attitude we reduced the score. So at the end, it's this kind of behaviors we are looking for. If it happens once, you will receive a warning. Yes? If it happens twice, you will receive a second warning, and the second game you will lose 3-0. So even if you are winning 10-0 and the attitude is like that, the second game you will receive a warning, but you will lose the game 3-0. And if it happens 3 times, the organizers can consider to remove this team from the league. So basically it's like that, okay? Because at the end we don't want any team to create these big gaps. Doesn't make sense in this league. Then in other leagues like the Dubai Sport Council, if they don't put any rules and any academy wants to do that, it's fair enough, but not in this league. Okay, and then this rule is, if a team is losing for a difference of 4 goals or more, is allowed to put one more player in the field. Is allowed. We will not tell you that you have to do it or not, but is allowed. Yes. So if you are playing 7-a-side and one team is winning 4-0, the team that is losing is allowed to put one extra player in the game. Yes. So at least we will close the gap a little bit, because at the end, if one team is much better than the other one, even if you put 3 players more, the game will not be balanced. So this is why then coaches and head coaches and everyone has to balance this. But at the end, if this is the gap and we can reduce this a little bit, the same, you are allowed. If you don't want to do it, because you prefer to play with the same number of players and that's it. This is up to everyone. And that's it. Read everything this. Of course, anyone can go to any other player or academy to try to recruit players or these kind of things. I think this is not the aim of this league, okay? And from our side, this last two things. First one, academies will be the responsible of your parents. Yes, we say only one thing to the parents. Parents cannot be are not allowed to be inside the field, never. So they cannot step in the green. They have to be always around the field. We will send you a picture with the field's layout where there will be the zones of parents. So if you want, you can send this to the parents, but inside the field, no one can be inside the field. Never. So the coaches are there, the head coaches are responsible to everything. So we are enough to be inside the field. There are a lot of players inside the field, small kids, so we don't want parents there inside the field. No one. Okay? So you are the responsible of your parents. Okay? If Barca parents are inside the field, we as organizers, we will tell Barca coaches, Barca head coaches to control this. If you are not controlling this, we will be able to take an action on this. And the responsible will be the team and the academy. Okay, so just let them know that they can go throughout the field wherever they want, but not inside. Last one. If in case you want to postpone any game because of whatever, you can do it, but always the other academy has to be aware and has to accept this. Yes?